What's up, everybody? That time of the day, that time of the week, that time of the month.
Yeah, rabbit. Because it's the first of the month. Let's get all the bad juju out and let's roll.
All the bad juju?
Yeah.
Oh, that means it's time for all the bills to be paid.
That's right.
Did we get all the checks in this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
Everybody's paid, all the sponsors, because I don't want to have to skip anybody.
No.
Okay. We've got a great show for you today.
Yes.
This is that part of our favorite part when we get
Yes.
to have some really cool dudes on that have some great stories, and there's no one that has better stories, I have a feeling,
I know.
than our guest today.
Yes, sir.
Jason Charles Miller
yes.
will be joining us, and he's popping on right now as he steps into his studio, which is so much cooler than ours. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Whew. I
That's
just got back from Vegas yesterday.
Did you?
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Did you
And
go?
no gambling involved. All work, no play.
Should have stopped over and
It was
saw.
fun work.
You should have stopped over and saw our friends at Vamp.
Yeah.
Well, I actually played there June 3rd, so I did, but just not this time. Didn't even have time to get over there and have a drink.
So Stoney's been on the show, Stoney Curtis.
Yep.
And then Jeff Tatora is a great friend of the show because Jeff's from here.
Yep.
And has played in, Jesus, he's in like 27 bands in Vegas, for God's sake. Outside of just being like 30 years with the Blue Man Group.
Yep.
And Count 77's drummer, Femmes of Rock's
Rock.
drummer. So he's a great friend of the show, and he's brought us a lot.
Great.
Got a lot of great people.
Yes.
But the way that we heard and saw you is when we were out to the Faster Pussycat show, which I liked you guys better than Faster Pussycat. Actually, I'm not going to say that out loud because that would be rude. But you guys crushed it.
Yes.
Crushed it.
Thank you so much. Well, I love them, and
Yes.
they gave me a great opportunity to tour with them. And but yeah, I love my band. Like I really have. Even though it is under my name, obviously, the guys and gal that I tour with are, I'd like to think that I've been in the business long enough to like be able to find really good talent and talent that's going to fit in with what I'm doing. So I'm glad that you guys saw that too and felt that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've seen some of the things you've posted as a band, and it looks like you guys just have a blast.
Yeah, you guys have.
Doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Just
Well, you got to like each other when you're in a van, right?
Yeah, right.
right. And
If
any
you're on a
ba-
tour bus, people can hide in their bunks, but when you're touring in a van,
yeah.
Totally
no
different
hiding
story.
from anyone.
No, there's no hiding and there's no stopping
No.
for chili anywhere.
No.
We Jeff and I've been in a band for about the last, was it 9 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 years. Well, we had a 7 year playing, 2 years
2 years.
staring at each other,
Yeah.
wondering when we could play again. But
7-year itch.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
and you have to get along, and you don't always.
No.
You have to go through the gauntlet of people till you get that right fit. But it definitely looks like you guys got that
Yes.
fit.
Found your fit.
We do. We all get along really well, and the players are fantastic. And I mean, that's the thing. You could have a great player,
Right.
but if they're not fun to be on an 8-hour van trip to the next city and they're just complaining the entire time or whatever, that's not fun either.
No.
That's not really like. That's when you have the existential crisis. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this?
Right.
Just to listen to this guy complain,
Right.
So.
Yeah.
It's funny because I don't know about you, but I mean, I've been playing music since I was an early teen.
Yeah.
And playing in bars since I was 15. And I always said when it stopped being fun, I don't want to
over.
do this and there was a time in my life when I was just like, fuck it.
It's not fun.
Not joining, I'm leaving this band, not joining anything for a while. And then found myself back into it later in life. But yeah, it stopped being fun. I was like, nope, this is too much. Everybody's at each other's throat type thing, and just need to take a break,
That's cool that you started playing clubs at 15. For me, I've been singing in front of audiences since I was 6.
Nice.
But I didn't start playing clubs till I was 17. but I don't know what happened with you, but at a few clubs, I was only allowed to be there when I performed. And then
Right.
as soon as I was done, I had to like wait in the parking lot, basically.
Well, I'm an old man. So I'm 56. So when I was 15, the drinking age was 18. So,
Okay.
and they were kind of lenient on some shit, but
Yeah.
I had to have a letter from my mother that I kept in like this sheet protector. And I played drums for the first 30 years of my life and kept it in my, my stick bag. And when I have to show it to the bar owner, it's the same thing to be like, okay, well, better not be drinking. No, of course not. Just don't go out to the band car, which we had this giant frickin', we called it the tank, like an old Buick Roadmaster, that we could fit almost all of our gear in the trunk of this car, which was ridiculous, and then we just go out there and just get fucked up, But yeah, never drank at the clubs. And I remember, they'd watch me like a hawk because the rest of the band was a little older than me. But yeah, that sucked. But different now, being 21 or whatever. But yeah, it stopped being fun for her. And then I became a drummer or a singer, and I was like, this is cool. I got my mic, guys. How you doing? Hey, Mr. Drummer guy. How long you been here?
Right.
Oh, you got here the same time as the PA guy did? Yeah,
great.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll see you. I'm leaving, guys.
Yep.
Show's over.
I got to pack up my
fun
microphone
packing up
and
your
leave.
shit. I'll be out in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Right.
So how long?
There's that meme going around where it's like I think it's from Starship Troopers. They're like, the drummer, I'm doing my part. The guitar player, I'm doing my part. And then it cuts to that Netflix show, So You Think I Can Leave, and it says the singer, I didn't do shit.
Right.
It's the best. Yeah. I can't even. I don't even want to look to my left. It's just like, I said this on the show last night. We were talking to one of our local musicians, and I said, when you have that moment between the guitar player and the singer, that something goes fucked up, and then the singer doesn't want to look toward that angry dad area, and he was always stage left. So even sitting here, if I say something off color on a podcast, I'm like, I'm going to look at him. He's going to give me that same freaking disappointed look he used to give me on stage, So, but now I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We all have those weird reactions to like various things. Like anytime I still smell weed being smoked, I'm like, ooh, somebody's in trouble. And I was like, wait, no, it's legal. Nobody's in trouble.
Yeah,
right.
You know what, though? It's funny. Years ago, when I smelled it, I was like, somebody's getting away with something cool. Now I'm like, what the fuck? Come on, guys. Really? Everywhere we walk now, the whole country smells like weed.
Yes.
I get it.
It does.
Much.
Yeah,
It does.
It's almost like they got to have little tiny joints they're selling.
Yeah.
First of all, when it's rolling your own joint, when did that end? You got to go buy these little half joints.
No, my son-in-law still does his. It's all good.
I said to these guys, they're like, well, that's the walk the dog joint. I'm like,
Whatever.
you lazy motherfuckers. I mean, come on, just roll your own shit. Not that I partake.
No.
Or ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, in anything.
So let's jump right into this, man.
Yeah.
Both feet.
Okay.
When did you start as far as like
rock, country
or the Southern rock
Yeah.
thing? Or?
I mean, yeah. So when I was in high school, I was in bands and started playing clubs around the Maryland, Virginia, and DC area, and started a band eventually called Blind, which would eventually become Godhead, and that was really a whirlwind of, we were signed to a European label first, and then that actually became, then we signed to a label out of New York called Soul 3 Records, which then became The Orchard, which then eventually became the largest independent distributor in the world of music and was bought by Sony. But then Marilyn Manson's manager saw Godhead play in the late '90s, and we signed to Marilyn Manson's label, and toured with him for 2 years and did the Ozfest and toured with Disturbed, Linkin Park, Rammstein, Mudvayne, Slipknot, you name it. We were right there in that whole fray. And then that label went away, and we had we had 3 more albums after that, but each one with diminishing returns, and we felt like we were doing our best artistic work, but we were having trouble promoting it and getting it to the masses, and so many things were changing at that point, from physical media to digital media.
Sure.
And I started doing solo music, and growing up in Virginia, I always had a attraction to country music, southern music, swampy kind of stuff. And so Godhead was so rigid and industrial, and for as much as I love performing that kind of music, I wanted to do something 180, all organic instruments, all just people jamming, not to a click, just going with the energy of the music. So that's where I am here with 6 solo albums later, and then a lot of cool things along the way, getting songs in TV shows like True Blood, Deadliest Catch.
Deadliest Catch, nice.
Being featured on a lot of different shows and festivals, and so that's, and then totally not even. It's like I keep getting, when people know you from a certain genre, they sometimes have trouble sort of accepting you in another genre. But of people who don't know anything about my past, when they hear my music now, they might never know that I collaborated with so many other like heavier rock bands, and industrial bands and electronic bands. But I think when you're an entertainer, when you're a musician, and you can appreciate every style of music that reaches your soul.
Yeah.
So
we found ourselves even getting into this even more has broadened my horizon. I mean, I dabbled with blues, I dabbled with some jazz, I dabbled with the heavy, I grew up on stuff like Cream and Black Sabbath and Zeppelin, and then progressed into metal stuff, like what we thought was metal back then. It was like, well, Kiss is metal, and then all of a sudden Manowar became metal, and then and then Mudvayne is like, holy shit, what just happened? But luckily, being from the area that we're at, we've got guys like from Mudvayne, Marcus Rafferty's from Syracuse. He and his brother freaking
actually they're performing tonight.
Mudvayne's playing tonight here at our amphitheater. And then
you guys going?
No, well, we're talking to you.
We're talking to you, bro.
Brand New Sin was from here, with Joe Altier, who you guys toured
buddy of mine, and we toured together in Europe with Soil. I think that was right. I think Soil was the headliner, and then Brand New Sin and Godhead were the openers.
Yeah, he kept.
He actually mentioned that.
He mentioned that on his interview, saying, we keep talking about the big call we have to have. We've got to have our call, you guys always say we got to get together and have a call. And then he gets busy, you get busy. I mean, Jesus, he's ridiculously busy, just like yourself.
I'm glad I got to see him and hang out with him a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Over at Faster Pussycat. Yeah. He I told him, and I doubt he's going to do it because I'm sure he's got a gig tonight, but I said, look, if you know what time we record, it's the same login and password and the same bridge every one of our shows.
Yep.
I said, so if you get a chance, just pop in and just, out of nowhere, we'll see you pop up on the screen and you can say hello. Yeah, I like Tatora is notorious. Tatora is like an attention whore.
I'm surprised he's not popping on tonight.
Yeah, well, but he's like time. Pops up on everything, but which is cool because we love it.
Yeah.
And so if you see that if we're going to interview somebody that and that you're friends with, by all means, from this day forward, just jump on the bridge and be like, hey,
okay.
we'll be like, holy shit, look who's here, which is cool. But
when you least expect it,
that's
it.
right.
Exactly
that's
right.
Be like, who the hell's talking from the studio? Dude, 4:00 in the morning here. So you had, Jeff, you had seen and you had asked when we talked a little bit before with Jason about his collaboration with your favorite frickin' band in the world.
Blackberry Smoke.
So
huge. I got introduced to them a little later, like 2013 or 14, when they had just come out with the Whippoorwill.
Oh yeah, classic album.
Oh man, great! And I saw them on their Whippoorwill tour back in December. They came through New York, and we saw them in Ithaca. And I had not heard of you at the time, and so listening to you, I went, I'm going to go back and see what else he's got. So, touching on that a little bit before I get to that question, off the new album, my 2 favorite songs have to be The River and Chasing the Sun. Great, great songs. Love them. I love the whole album, actually.
Thank you.
I've downloaded the entire, I think the last, 3 or 4. But then I went back and started listening to some of your older stuff. And in the Wasteland, I see Old Scarecrow. And I'm like, wait a minute. Because I had already heard Blackberry Smoke's version. And I thought,
right.
Somebody's stealing from somebody.
No, because this is 2000. Right. And his is like 2018. And I'm going, wait a minute. It's 2021. Hold on a minute. So how did that come about?
And you heard Charlie's voice.
I did.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, he came in here like he discovered something, like either the biggest conspiracy theory or like, dude, fucking aliens are real.
Yeah.
We're going to record a different.
Apparently they are.
Yeah. Well,
they are
hey,
real.
you know what? Hey, let's not even get me started because I believe in it forever.
All right.
You know, so we'll have to have you narrate that episode. But
right.
But he comes. We're about to record another. He's like, look at this, and he's pulling it up on his phone, and I'm like, there's got to be an explanation,
right?
Why is it? You're not the first to discover something phenomenal here, but it happened to have his boy crush band, you know. And I was waiting to put like a sponge under his side of the desk here because he was all kinds of excited.
Yeah, I was too.
Jesus Christ!
Because then Mike's like, well, listen, dude. And he goes, and after we saw you at the Pussycat show, I'm like, he goes, I got a hold of him, and he's going to do an interview with us. And I'm like, oh, shit.
He says today, he goes, I got to tell you, dude, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little excited and a little nervous.
Yeah.
I said,
okay, so here's the story behind that whole thing. Hold on. My dog is trying to get out. Hold on.
That's all right.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's 2 shows in a row.
Oh, my God, you're right.
Last night.
Sherry's dog. Sherry's dog.
One of my dogs, if a door is closed, she's got to open it and until she's closed in here. But now I put her out there and she's probably going to come back in. But anyway, okay. So I've been friends with Charlie since about 2011 or 2012, right before the Whippoorwill came out.
Okay.
We had a mutual friend that was like, you guys should know each other, and gave us like an email intro. And Charlie's such a nice guy that he wrote me back. And then they played at the CMA Fest in Vegas. And I went out there and I met him there, and it was cool. And we just started up a friendship. We wrote a few songs like over FaceTime. You know, we were never in the same room at the same time, but you know, I've written over Zoom and over FaceTime, gosh, especially over the pandemic, but this was way before then, just because he lives in Georgia, I live in California. But we've both been friends with Ricky Metlock from Lynyrd Skynyrd well before that. My old band Godhead happened to have the same publicist that Ricky had, and she introduced us, I don't know when, but Ricky and I just remained friends. And then when I started doing my solo music that was Southern rock inspired and country inspired, I let Ricky know about this, right? And so I can't remember, I'm pretty sure it was Ricky. Ricky was like, hey, I wrote I wrote this song, or I started this song with Charlie, and it might be good for you. Let me send you this demo. So he sent me a demo of Old Scarecrow, and it wasn't finished. So I wrote a bridge to it in my version. And then when I got signed to Sony, now the demo doesn't sound like my version, and it doesn't sound like Blackberry Smoke's version either, in the sense of, sure, the melodies are the same,
Yes.
and the chorus is the same, but mine starts with like the really heavy riff. Theirs starts with the acoustic picking riff.
Correct.
The demo started with like this weird bass riff that no one used. But anyway,
okay,
so,
That's cool.
I was working on it with my friend Stuart Carreras. We finished our version of it. Then I asked Charlie if he would sing on it. I asked Ricky if he would play on it. So in my version, it's more like a duet.
Yeah.
Charlie, I sing a verse, Charlie sings a verse. We harmonize in the choruses. Ricky plays slide on it.
I kind of figured, yeah.
I saw Charlie at the end of 2019, right before the pandemic, and he was like, hey, we're thinking about cutting Old Scarecrow 2. And I was like, awesome. So then, the pandemic hits, everyone's kind of underground. They go to do their album. And Charlie was like, we based it more off of the demo than the version that you did. So your bridge isn't in this, but we're still leaving everyone's writing credit the same, which is very cool of them to do, because, they could have just been like, well, we didn't use your part. So, but
you're out.
A song's in commerce. So there's basically just two versions of the song out there. Charlie sings on both of them. Ricky plays on mine. And they both live in the universe. And I love when people just, obviously Blackberry Smoke, a much more popular band than me, so a lot more people know their version, but I love it when they discover mine. And then when they hear Charlie singing on it, I think they realize, oh, okay, this was a partnership in some way. This was like a connection in some way.
Exactly.
And then they want to know the story. So that's kind of the story.
That's cool, man.
And that's what brought the story to you. So it's working.
Yeah. It is working.
Yeah. Happening after the fact, but I love it. And I know I'm going to see them, I think, next month. They'll be out here finally. They haven't been in California since before the pandemic.
Correct.
And from what I understand, they close with that song. So
they do. They close their encores, generally that one, and Ain't Much Left of Me.
Ain't Much Left of Me, yeah. That's a masterpiece.
Yeah, oh, my God, isn't it?
What do they eat for breakfast, Jeff?
I have no clue. I'm not going to find out.
Scaring me, dude. You're scaring me. It's too much weird shit coming. Now, when he's going to ask you when you do see them, you have to say if there's any way to pull them on this show somehow. So I know that's going to be his next. And that would be freaking hilarious, because you'd have to join us, because he won't be able to talk.
No.
And that would be worth that.
I did meet them in Ithaca in December.
Did you open your mouth and go?
No, actually, I was. Paul and I have like a small connection, because his father was a firefighter, and I am as well. Well, yeah, I retired, but and that's the connection Paul and I had, plus playing guitar and stuff. And I just, I was talking to Paul and Brandon and Charlie, and I met Preston for the first time. Down to earth, dude.
Cool.
He still has a straw wrapper that he threw on the ground, and Jeff's got it in his wallet, I think.
I don't, actually.
Whack job.
I also
he wishes he had it.
He's got his DNA. He's going to clone one and
Negative.
keep it in his garage. My best friend.
Negative. Your cover of Day After Day, how did that come about?
I've just always loved that song, and what's crazy is the girl singing backing vocals on that, Katie Cole. She's now in the Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's cool.
Yeah, she's originally from Australia. She lived in L.A. for many years, moved to Nashville, and now she's in the Smashing Pumpkins. There's also a theremin player on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I always wanted to do a cover of that song. There's something so beautiful about the chords in that song. And I played it live I was opening for the Allman Betts band.
Okay.
And I played it live for their crowd, and they really responded to it. And I was like, I need to record at least an acoustic version of this and get it out there.
It's fantastic. I love it. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I got a great review from I can't remember the name of the magazine right now, but I got 8 out of 10 stars. It's a UK magazine, like one of the big UK music review magazines, and I got 8 out of 10 because they hated both covers. They loved all the originals.
Oh,
like,
jeez.
We hate this cover and I hate this cover, but the rest of the album's great. I'm like,
right.
Well, okay.
8 out of 10 is not so bad, but
right.
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm glad you liked it.
I do. And the Iron Maiden one, did that come about because Joe did it too?
No, we did it. That's what's really crazy.
Okay.
Is that we both did it independently. I recorded that like 2 years ago, and we both did it completely independently.
Okay.
And then we realized that we had both done it.
Hey, Joe?
Joe Altier.
Oh. So you're doing things in a minor key.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just did. I didn't change the key really. I did change the key, but I kept the chord progressions the same.
Right.
And just did acoustic, and then, got violin and cello on there and
That's cool.
stuff like that.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, I love when I see these new versions of songs. I think
Yeah.
Joe, I hate to toot his horn because he's not here to sit back and say, hey, thanks, Mike.
Right.
But, I mean, that Brown Eyed Girl that he did was pretty sick. That was.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. It's like the world has changed. The world of music has changed so much, and TikTok is where people are discovering music, and it's very hard to get original music heard these days. There's not as many avenues as there used to be.
Right.
In other ways, there's infinite avenues, right? But does the algorithm like what you're doing or not? So
right.
I have other friends that do, Under the Sea from The Little Mermaid, but it's metal. You've probably seen those things, and they have 12 million views, and those guys are making a living off of that kind of stuff.
Or you got the guy who's like the one that had influencers there that just sings just like everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Right, that guy's like, here's what Ozzy sound like if he sang this. Here's
Yeah,
what Chris
yeah.
Cornell sounds like if he would sing
Ozzy's doing a Neil Diamond
and then
song.
they're making, and we all have aspirations to be these original artists that are making millions of dollars off of all of our original music. But then you put out a wacky cover, and then that gets more interest than all of it. But that's okay. I think that like you've got an idea of where your life is going to go, and it never really goes there exactly as planned. Nothing ever goes as planned.
Right.
But you just got to enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Entertainment is entertainment, no matter what it is. And if you can, when we're younger and we're set in our head that our music that we're listening to is the best, the only, the anything.
Right.
Our parents went through that. Their parents went through that. My parents sitting down, like, if I hear AC/DC, We Salute You one more time, I'm going to come in and smash that record player. or I wore the sound off the 8-track of Cream Crossroads,
Yeah.
And that you stay focused. But if you sit back and watch people redoing things and putting their own spin on it, yeah, they may not have written the words, but you had the creative wherewithal to change it to something that somebody's ear is going to pick up. And I guess when a lot of the sampled music came and some of the hip hop and R&B stuff, and I'm like, they're just taking an Aerosmith tune and they're putting a weird beat behind it. They're not doing it. No, they are. as much as I would hate to say some of the rap and hip hop stuff, I'm not a huge fan of, but I respect people that put their creative license on it and make it their own. I'm just not a fan of like lip syncing and all that other shit. But,
Can't do it.
you know, when you remake a song and make it your, like Joe's version, some of the stuff that these people, they fall in love with it all over again. You know, and some of the younger people that fell in love with Brown Eyed Girl that he did.
Yes.
It may be the same words, but that is nowhere near the same direction that song even went in.
Right.
You know, so God bless anybody who puts their own spin on something.
You know, and it's funny you mentioned an algorithm and stuff like that, and that's kind of how not that I discovered them, but myself, that's how I discovered, you know, More Music From You, Stone Senate, Them Dirty Roses, Robert John and a Wreck. I mean, I've discovered all this really cool stuff, and it's kind of thanks to that in a way.
And it's coming full circle. It's coming full circle.
Yeah.
You got guys like Ross Friedman from Manowar, and everybody thought, you know, oh, that's the band he started with. No, he started with the Dictators, which was like on the forefront in the beginning stages of punk rock, for God's sake. You know, I mean, so maybe everybody will start loving the stuff that we did. I mean, hopefully with more Southern rock, you'll bring back people listening to the Skinner again and listening to, you know, even 38 Special and ZZ Top will start, you know, coming back into people's minds.
Sure.
You know, because the kids, you can't force them to it. But if they think they discovered it themselves, we can give them credit. Oh, no kidding, you're the first.
That's what happened with Guitar Hero like 10 years ago.
Oh my God!
Sure,
yes.
yeah, absolutely.
You know, a lot of classic acts got a new lease on life from Guitar Hero. But look at it this way. So like, there's a whole group of people that only know me from singing on video game soundtracks.
Okay.
Because I sing 3 songs in Final Fantasy XIV, which is the most subscribed game in the world.
Okay.
They have 30 or 40 million monthly subscribers. Wow. And that's where I just came. That's where I was. I was in Vegas performing at FanFest, singing those songs that I sang with the Composers Band. On Saturday, I sang in front of 15,000 people.
Oh, wow.
All fans of the game. And then on Sunday, we sang 2 orchestra concerts for 4,500 each time. The shows sold out in 5 minutes. I'm just a very small wheel in that giant machine.
Sure.
But from singing and writing songs for the game Cyberpunk 2077, and then for Metal Gear Rising, there are gamers that only know me as the video game singing guy, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Because that is there's a couple of really great things about that. One, like, I'm glad that they're enjoying another aspect of what I can bring to them as an entertainer, whether I'm hired just as the singer or whether it's music that I've written and sung or co-written and sung. And then that also is a bridge for them to discover more things about me and listen to all their music.
And it's funny because that was the opposite for me, because I discovered your music, and then I go back and I look at some stuff and I find out, okay, well, he did, like you just said, composed for a lot of video games. You did voice for some video games.
Yeah.
You know.
What was your voiceover work for over 100 games?
What'd you say, Mafia 2 or what?
No, Mafia 3, which is one of my all-time favorite video games. I'm looking at this and I'm going, he was a voice on there?
See, I don't play. I don't have to play that game. I just go to a family reunion.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you did stuff for wrestling too, didn't you? WWE.
Yeah. So with the band, otherwise, and then a song that I wrote with Rev Theory called "Hangman." I'm sorry. Yeah, that was Rev Theory. They used that on SmackDown for years, and then Brandon Cutler, the AEW wrestler, he approached me to write his intro theme song. So I've worked with both big wrestling leagues right now.
So you're another parallel with you and Joe When Joe's got, the big show.
The big show, yeah.
Yeah.
The big show.
Right.
Theme.
That's why that's where I know Joe. I was like, Joe, are we like the same person and we were split in an alternate universe and then like smashed back in here? And that's why, because it is really, like Joe and I were comparing notes about what we've been up to, and it was rather astonishing.
So, folks, just Jason on with us tonight.
Yeah, right. Well, around here he goes by Just Joe and does his solo stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And he also revealed for us on one of our on our show last time that he's actually going over to the UK and doing a vulgar display of piano.
That's the name of his album.
That's the name of his tour.
And and he was telling us how people being such wrestling fans in England, like 7 out of the 18 shows he's doing over there are because of that world, and boom, he's like, oh, you're the guy. So there you go.
Yeah. You're the
Is he
guy.
going to do like a piano version of that?
Well, I don't know if he's going to.
I don't know.
Probably.
He probably will.
No, and Joe, he wrote that little.
Right.
piece
No,
there
and Joey
for him,
probably
so.
will.
But not again. A lot of roads come back to your similarities between you and Joe and being friends. But it's just cool that you do have that path. And we see a lot of musicians here doing stuff for Gordon Ramsay and for Netflix, and some of our more in tune guitar players writing music for all kinds of media out there. So I guess that's the new norm, and you could do it from home.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You jump in your studio and you bang out what you have to do, and you send it out, and go for points, I guess.
Yeah, go for points.
Right.
So do you is there a part of it that you find that you enjoy the most, or if somebody said, look, you can pick one of these, you either write music for video games, you do voiceovers, you play in a band, or you have to pick one. Can you honestly say there's one that you like more than the other?
Yeah, well, performing in front of a live audience is still the number one best thing.
Right.
For me.
I agree.
Yeah, I love it more than anything else. Mm-hmm. So if I had to pick one, it would be that.
Okay.
To perform.
And you've done different genres. Do you feel that this is the way, or is there going to be another pivot moment and you're like, haven't done this in a while. I think I'm going to do like another.
Oh, I mean, you never know. I mean, I can do a pretty mean king from Hamilton, so you never know.
Right.
Maybe I'll do some Broadway at some point.
There you go.
Who's the new real heavy country that's out there? I mention it all the time, and I'm
Hartley.
Who?
Hartley? Is that it?
Hardy. So there you go. You've got that aggressive metal mixed with a country almost theory.
Yeah.
The country theory, everything weaves back. I mean, is that the new Southern rock? Is that going to be Southern metal?
I think so. I think it can be. Yeah. I think that the great thing about just the way the world is today is like, when we were kids, you had to pick a genre because you had to go physically buy the albums.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you can listen to anything, anytime, anywhere. And I think that our tastes are reflective of that, and that the audience taste is reflective of that. So the more genres you combine that make sense, I think the better. There's no more rules.
Right. And I love that because growing up listening to metal, as I did, all of a sudden some of the punk / thrash bands kind of came into their own scene. And as a metalhead or the hairband bands, you couldn't really be, as much as you wanted to hang out, you'd get your ass kicked by some of these skinheads and shit, be moshing. And it's like Anthrax broke down that genre barrier when they were getting up and they were doing, time to mosh.
Bring the noise.
Bring the noise. You got
bring
all
the
that.
noise with Onyx and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're right. And I think that like Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction did a lot when he started the Lollapalooza touring festival.
Sure. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
When you had Ice-T and Henry Rollins on the same bill, and
Yeah, for sure.
I like
that made a lot. Like people were like, "You're nuts," but he did it anyway. And now bands of different genres tour together all the time. I mean, look at on paper. A lot of people were like, "You're going out with Faster Pussycat," and I was like, "Just wait, just wait." And their fans were so supportive of us and so welcoming to us, and I knew it would work. And you guys saw a small version of it, but I mean, we did 25 shows, and we're probably going to do more,
Cool.
whether it's at the end of this year or next year. That's all being decided still, but I'll do more shows with them for sure because their fan base is so appreciative but supportive. And you don't know how many people were like, usually the opening band sucks, but we're so glad we came early.
Right.
I would get that every single day. I would also get a lot of people apologizing for not knowing who I was. They're like, I never heard of you. I'm so sorry, but you were fantastic.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't have to apologize for not knowing who I am. It's a great, big, wide world out there. And there's a lot of artists out there.
Yes.
And I get why you might not have heard of me before, and that's totally fine.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head, because when Jeff is saying, I never heard of you, in my mind, I'm thinking, God, nobody wants to hear that. That was a dick thing to say. But you're right. It no matter how you find that artist, and then Jeff, I know, goes down the rabbit hole, and then he's calling me. He's like, listen to these 7 songs. They're fucking killer, and he's now he's a huge fan,
Gotta say it.
And that doesn't happen often.
And I appreciate you doing, exactly what you're doing and the avenue you've driven down, really.
Right.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to be in that avenue, and because there's a certain representation. I think like in country music specifically, people are very particular about like, where are you from? Are you really country or not? Can you really be singing about these subjects? Are you poser? In the same way that like metal was, I guess, in the 80s and 90s. But I think with Southern rock, it's a little bit more forgiving. Like people can kind of understand that. Look, I mean, I grew up in Clifton, Virginia, when nobody lived there. We didn't have a sidewalk. The nearest house was like a half a mile away through the woods for me to play with other kids. That is how I grew up. Our neighbors had pigs. Our other neighbors had horses. Our other neighbors had goats. That was me. But I loved, I wanted to, as soon as I could get a driver's license, I got the hell out of there. It's definitely in my DNA of growing up in the woods and in the country. And, so I don't have any reservations about singing about that kind of stuff when the mood strikes me.
Right.
And if I want to sing a Dio song or something, I'll do that too.
Right.
Right. Great. Yeah. What were some of your influences when you were growing up?
So it's funny. The first like physical album I ever had was John Denver's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
And then my dad gave me all of his Beatles albums. I had an old Merle Haggard album, and then when I was 13, somebody gave me Blizzard of Oz.
Okay.
I was wondering if he was going to go Kiss or Ozzy.
Listening to it. Yeah. I remember. Well, it's funny because one of my childhood friends had Kiss. His older brother had Kiss posters all over his wall, and I remember being like almost pleasantly surprised when I started hearing Kiss records of how I thought their music was going to be so scary and wasn't going to make any sense. And then when I listened to it, I was like, oh, like you can jam to this. You can sing along. It's great.
Right.
But I'll never forget listening to side 2 of Blizzard of Oz when Mr. Crowley comes on, right? And there's the keyboard, real, like when you listen to it now, it's almost cheesy. But when
Yes.
you're a 13-year-old kid and you have your headphones on and you hear like, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is probably what it sounds like in hell. And I pulled the headphones off and ran out of the room. But I was hooked. That got me.
Nice.
That got
That's
me.
so cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then my stepbrothers, my stepbrothers had Kiss albums. They had Allman Brothers albums. They had Skinner albums. And then I had Led Zeppelin 1 and Led Zeppelin 4. So I often joke about this with my friend Stuart. He's like, wait, you never had Led Zeppelin 2 and 3? I'm like, no, I just didn't. I had 1 and 4.
Yeah.
So I have those 2 albums memorized. Like I could hear any song from 1 or 4 and know exactly where it is and know exactly what song it is, any piece. But 2 and 3 don't even really exist to me in my musical memory,
Right.
so to speak.
Sure.
But now I can go listen to it in 5 minutes.
Right.
So it's the weird things that the music that was available to you, these random things that shaped, what direction I ended up here.
Yeah.
But we were not. Can you imagine any of us having at our fingertips the stuff that's available now?
Oh.
I think we'd be confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We wouldn't know which direction.
Yeah.
We'd be in every direction. I mean,
Our brains would probably explode.
Well, I listened to like the Foreigner 4 album 1,000 times because I only had so many albums. You say, well, I want to go buy an album. They're like, well, get a job.
Right.
So it was like I listened, and when I got into Kiss, it was because we were the friends. My parents we were at their friend's house, and their son had all the Kiss albums, and he was done with them. And he said, "Do you want these?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I got Alive 1, Alive 2, Love Gun. I got them all. I got all every Kiss vinyl I got at that time was their whole book of music.
Yeah.
So I was almost overwhelmed with that. I'm like, I've only listened to like one album 77 times in a day. I mean, what am I going to do? I got all this shit to listen to. This is going to take all summer, So
see, Jason and I kind of grew up in the same kind of way because I had 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
And my one brother brought home Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell, the first album with Ronnie James Dio on it. And I was like, oh,
yeah,
this is cool.
Right.
And then my older brother brought home Molly Hatchet, Flirting with Disaster. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is where it's at.
Yes. I didn't have that.
And then it was like, then they brought home, Boston, Allman Brothers, Skinnerd, all that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good now.
Yeah, you're like, I'm in.
Yeah.
That Molly Hatchet album cover, man.
All of their album covers
Just the album cover alone.
Yes.
With what's that?
All of their album
with
covers.
with that warrior.
Yeah.
That warrior on the horse.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I want to listen to that.
I'm
right
gonna listen to that. Yes.
So that, we ask this question to everybody, and it's kind of not segueing well, but out of all the shows you've played, no matter what genre, no matter where you were, Joe gave us a couple of them, but
He did.
There's got to be a couple mishaps or things that happen live that nobody else knew. Joe was talking about how he ripped his pants and didn't know it. I think he was in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah, he was playing a club somewhere, I think in Europe, or I think it wasn't.
Or maybe yeah.
And he goes, it's getting awful
quite
drafty
down
here.
there. And then
Come to find out, his fly was open the entire time. He wasn't wearing any underwear either.
No, he ripped. He said he had to use gaff tape. Yeah.
He had to use gaff tape to cover himself up.
Yeah. So there's got to be something maybe that you go, well, I remember this one time, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. One, so Godhead's biggest hit was we did a cover of Eleanor Rigby. We did a rock cover of Eleanor Rigby, and it was played on MTV2 a lot. So when we were on the Ozfest and we were on we were touring with Marilyn Manson and Disturbed, of course that would always be our second to last song or our last song, and I don't know what happened. I got distracted or something, but I forgot the lyrics to Eleanor Rigby in front of an arena or something.
Right.
And I remember that our sound man, who was also our tour manager, got really angry with me after the show. Like, he was seriously angry with me for forgetting the lyrics and forgetting where I was in the song. I'll never forget that. I think he took everything way too seriously. But I was like, man, we got it back on track. It was okay. And it was like the second verse I repeated or something. Another time, let's see. I was given a brand new microphone. I was sent a brand new microphone from Lewitt. And I love their mics. And the first show that I go to use it, I've never knocked over a mic stand in like 10 years. The very first show I go to use it, the first verse of the first song, my bass player like jostles me. I hit my microphone stand. It goes down, and not only does it go down, but it goes down and then it goes flying out of the stand into the pit.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Not
like
cool.
$1,000 microphone.
Yeah. Oh.
And luckily it still worked.
Right.
Thank
wow.
God. So
Like a Timex.
I jumped to my bass player's mic and kept singing, and then I saw the tech like grab it, put it back up. Huge dent in the grill, but it all still worked.
Nice.
Gave it some character.
Gave it some character.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
So out of all the touring and stuff that you've done, like, who has been one of the people that you're like, holy shit, I'm standing in front of this person?
Yeah, you got tongue-tied.
You got kind of, has that ever happened to you?
Fanboy moment.
Yeah, actually, the most surreal moment was in the same day I met, and in the same day, but like in two different instances. So it's not like I met all three of them at once.
Okay.
But I met this first person I'm going to say, and then the next two together, like a couple of hours later.
Sure.
But in the same day, I met Lou Reed, and then I met Sean Lennon and Yoko Ono.
Wow.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because it was all at a rehearsal space in New York. Godhead was recording an album. This was probably in like 96 or 97. And Richard Goderer, who was producing our album, he's been in the business forever. He's a legend, and you would know him from so many things, but he also wrote My Boyfriend's Back.
Okay.
And he also wrote I Want Candy.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
But he produced the first two Blondie albums. He produced the first two Go-Go albums, Go-Go's albums. He gave Lou Reed his first solo record deal on Sire Records after the Velvet Underground broke up. So I'm meeting Lou Reed with Richard Goderer being like, hey, this is a new band I'm producing. Like, it was just such a weird thing because I got to meet Lou Reed as I was introduced to him as a musician, not like, oh, blah, 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 I'm a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it was a really cool way to meet him. It was probably the coolest way to meet him.
That is awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then Sean Lennon and Yoko Ono were there for something else, and I'm such a huge Beatles fan. As I said earlier, those were my first records given.
Yeah.
So that was just a crazy day. It's almost as crazy as the time that I was in Ralph's in Studio City, and I had just recognized that Malcolm Jamal Warner was in the cereal section. And then I look down and I get hit with a with a shopping cart.
Yeah.
And I hear, sorry, man. And I looked up and it was Joe Walsh.
Oh, no shit.
So I don't know. I think that like all these things happen like at the same time for some reason. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and are you guys fans of the movie The Big Lebowski?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So besides seeing Malcolm Jamal Warner and then getting hit with the shopping cart from Joe Walsh, I then saw the actor that plays the sheriff of Malibu in The Big Lebowski. Get your gold bricking ass out of my beach community, Lebowski. and I was like, what is going on? But that happens a lot when you live out here in LA. You see the most random people from the most, you see icons of entertainment everywhere you look.
Yes.
Yeah. We treat people different than they do in Europe. And when I was in England in 80 something, I think it was 84, I'm over there because I'm a musician even at a young age. I'm in the concierge at the hotel is like, hey, there's a band staying here you might hang out with. And they were just kids like myself. And the band was called Aha. And they wrote the song Take On Me, right? So they're living at the hotel because if they go back to their country, they're going to get drafted. So the record label says, you're staying in London until this is all done, So I befriend them sitting in the lobby like at 2 a.m. and smoking a joint with the bellhop. And they're like, yeah, here comes the band now. And we all sit there and we're shooting shit. And they're like, well, we're recording tomorrow. Why don't you come with us and check out the studio? So I go there, and they're in like Studio 1, and in Studio 2, unbeknownst to me, is Billy Squier, and Studio 3 is Duran Duran at the time recording something, and Billy Squier comes out, and they're like, oh yeah, there's one of your Americans, and I end up going to lunch with Aha,
and Billy
Squier and myself, and I've said before, ironically, we went and got pizza at Pizza Hut in England, but I hung out with these guys for the rest of my 14-day trip, and it was like I almost felt like an equal, even though I wasn't. But they're like, hey, come and jam and this and that, and
but they made you feel like an equal. That's awesome.
Yeah. And because of the connections, they had. They're like, well, what parts of England do you want to see? Because we can kick down some doors. And I said, look, while I'm here, I want to go up and I want to just see the Hammersmith Odeon. Because, at the time, Motorhead sold it out. Manowar, who I was big into back then, sold it out. So we drive up and I'm like, this is just a big soccer field. It's kind of cool. But
right.
they got us in. There was nobody in there. And the record label said, yeah, go. We'll make some calls, or go into a music store, and anything they wanted was they just charged it to the record label. And those guys bought me new hi-hat cymbals.
Must be nice.
Charged them to the record label and sent them back to the U.S. for me. I was like, you guys don't have to do this. And they're like, yeah, we do. It's free. I'm like, it's not really free, But that's what they did. It was just cool shit like that, But anywhere we went, like even when Duran Duran or anybody was out, people didn't swarm them and treat them crazy. Here, once you get recognized as something, people they drive you crazy, even for the littlest thing.
Mm-hmm.
So bumping into somebody at the grocery store, it even means more here in the United States than it would anywhere else. So that's pretty cool that you've had those experiences,
Yeah.
So before we let you go, I want to ask you real quick, how did you become a dungeon master?
Oh man, so once again, growing up in the woods, all by myself, my cousin taught me Dungeons and Dragons on a trip to visit my cousin, and then I became obsessed when I was like 8 years old.
Right.
So I asked my dad to buy me, like a box set, and then I would find other people to play with in school and everything. So I've been playing D&D since I was 8 years old. Then when streaming started happening, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. And I get paid to be a dungeon master. Like one of my hobbies that I do on the side is I stream games on Twitch where I'm the dungeon master, or sometimes I'm a player, or I get flown to England to play Dungeons and Dragons in a castle with people. Or I play it at conventions in front of a crowd. It's the coolest thing that our hobby has become like something we can make money at. So
That's
why
awesome.
not?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Dude, you must have been a Big Bang Theory fan.
You know what? I didn't like the Big Bang Theory. You know why?
Come on.
Why?
Why?
Because it wasn't realistic enough.
All I
Okay.
can think of is the episode where Wallowitz is the dungeon master and he's doing it in the voices of different characters. And he's doing like
I did see that episode. I saw the Dungeons and Dragons episodes because I was, told to watch it. Plus, I'm friends with Joe Manganiello, and he was on that episode. So,
Oh, really?
Of course
Okay.
you are.
Okay,
Of
cool.
course you are.
yeah, yeah. Well, look, everybody from D&D, from playing Dungeons and Dragons. I've become friends with Joe. I also have met Vince Vaughn through Dungeons and Dragons. I've met Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, not from music, but through Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
So,
That's weird.
There's a lot of different people.
Well,
cool.
Will Wheaton, even though he was on the show, he was a big board game
Will.
kind of guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I've seen him on a couple shows.
I've met Will Wheaton a bunch of times.
Yeah. So you sit back and
Yep.
bash, and I was one of those nerds,
Well,
as they put it. I mean, we did Dungeons and Dragons when it was so new that our parents were scared of it. I heard some boy played it for 26 hours and it ate his brother's face. You can't, but it's the devil. It was the early 80s. Nobody knew what the hell
like
it
playing
was.
with a Ouija board.
They called it the Satanic Panic.
yeah.
You're going to kill somebody someday.
That's awesome.
Keep talking, lady. Keep talking. That's awesome. Dude, I mean,
Jason, thank you so much for doing this,
we
man.
could do...
we could go on and
yeah,
on.
we could
but
do
for-
another-
We do another one.
All right.
Let's
yeah.
do another one soon. And because we there's so many things we didn't even talk about.
Yeah. Well, is there something you want to
something
talk
you wanna
about
talk-
that we
absolutely.
missed? I mean, we're on your dime, so
Yeah.
we'll sit here for 7
Yeah,
hours.
no. I mean, I loved it. I just hope that whoever listens to it will check out my stuff. Whatever appeals to them, check it out.
Oh, absolutely.
Where are you playing next? What's your next biggest show? How's that?
My next show is at Wasteland Weekend,
Okay.
which is a festival where about 5,000 people dress up as if it's the apocalypse. You have to wear an outfit like it's the apocalypse, like it's Mad Max or Fallout, or any sort of post-apocalyptic movie or game.
Sure.
Right.
And it's a fully immersive festival, and that's our next gig, and it's so much fun.
That's
it's
cool.
awesome.
Serving nothing but dirty water and Twinkies.
Right.
If you check out my video for the song In the Wasteland, that's
Yes.
all footage from that festival.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Gotta
Okay.
write that down.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I've seen it.
Meh. Whatever.
Like I
fanboy.
said, man, I heard the river, and I'm like, and then again, I went back, and you did an acoustic version of that on, I think it's the first record,
Yeah.
on
yeah.
country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to start to think that you're weird, that like you're going to stalk them. Our
No.
guests are going to be like looking out their window.
I don't think that.
No,
He's
dude.
just thorough. He's just being
Yeah.
thorough.
I'm like your version. I'm like Eddie Trunk for you. I'll just tell you what you need to hear.
He knows all the particulars. I'm here just for my
I
good
do.
looks and my humor. You're supposed to laugh at that, Jeff.
Yeah, no,
I hate you.
that's okay.
I hate you.
Not everybody likes me. That's okay.
See? There you go.
I like it.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, now that you're an alumni, we got to get you some free swag out to you.
Yeah, we got to send that out. I just sent a bunch of them out today. So you shoot. You've got my cell. Just
Yeah.
shoot me an address and
your
and a
t-shirt size.
T-shirt size.
We'll hook
send
you
out your good, the
Awesome.
band, and the ugly T-shirt. And and then anything you have that you're promoting or that you want to get out there, anytime. Let us know ahead of time.
Yeah.
If you want to pop on, we will be around your schedule. Anything you want to do.
Yep.
Okay, great.
You know, if you're
going
going to be in the
air.
this is going to air tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this will be up on
It'll be up on Spotify. It'll be up on
Apple
YouTube,
Music.
Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. I think that's our 5.
I'll link it on my socials. Let people know to listen.
Dude, that'd be
That'd be
awesome.
great.
We appreciate that, and like I said, anytime you're in the East Coast, let us know. If you're even close to this area, we will make the journey. We got invited to go interview the Guess Who.
Yeah.
Down in Buffalo and in Scranton, one of the two. So,
Yep.
Stuff like that. You're going, my parents love that stuff. But then I went and saw him the other night, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
These guys are awesome. I don't care
Yeah.
how old these songs are. They were awesome, And one of their guitar player is actually from Rochester, so we had some
He's gonna
ties
be on
in
the
here.
show.
So, anyways.
Oh, great.
But yeah, anything you want to promote, anytime you're in the area, please let us know. We love to have you on again.
Yes.
And I'll let you
And
know.
we'll discuss some more stuff.
Yeah, we're excited.
Sounds awesome.
We welcome you as a new family member.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here.
Bring the dogs next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. None of them. They're both. I don't know where they are, but yeah, I'll bring them up next time.
There you go. And then he'll get you hooked up with your Blackberry Smoke interview.
Sure.
So there you go. I just want to see
Yeah.
it. I just want to see it happen.
I would too. I'd love to.
I can't wait to see you tongue-tied.
Negative.
Have you guys tried? Have you reached out to their publicists or anything?
I have not.
Or, try. They're
Okay.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know we've reached. I mean,
And then
just
if
like
you get stonewalled, let me know. You know what I mean?
Okay,
if you
yeah.
can't, I'll try for you.
I mean, because I would love to interview any of them. Really. I mean, I know Britt had some or is going through some medical stuff, and so
Yeah.
rightfully so, and God bless him, and hope he's doing well. I know he's on tour, so
if he needs a kidney, Jeff will give him his. Apparently,
no,
okay,
nothing to do with that. But yeah,
Christ. All right, brother.
This was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you had
Jason.
fun, and let us know. Like I said, let us know when you want to be on again.
I did. Okay, I
All
will.
right, brother.
Thanks, guys.
all right.
Take it
Thanks,
easy, brother.
Jason.
See ya. So there you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
Another
What
great one,
That was a great interview. I mean, what a great guy.
dude. I'm grinning from ear to ear like I just won the lottery.
You know what it is? It's just people that are people.
Yeah, exactly. And he's so down to earth and open to talking about anything.
We can't get certain people from Syracuse to be
I
on,
know.
let alone guys like this that are just
Exactly.
thankful for what they have,
Yes.
appreciative of every fan, no matter
what.
who they are, where they're from. Music doesn't divide us because of the genre. Music should bring us all together.
No matter what you like.
I'm not gonna tell myself I wasn't gonna cry.
Oh God, here we go. Me without my tissues.
Me without my Kleenex. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Great UGG medical supply.
You didn't even.
I'm not going to skip a beat.
Man, no, you're not.
Sharky's Event Center. If you're listening, folks from Sharky's,
Yeah.
we need to get that band back here
absolutely on
to
Sharky
your
stage.
venue. And I think they'd crush it.
I think we should bring him here.
I do too. Yep. I think
Jim?
we need to have that
We need to have a
conversation,
chat.
Jim. And I think we're going to have to ask Jason how much and when,
Yeah. Yes.
because just they're a great band. And
They really are.
the music is just so, and I think it would go over well here. So
I do too.
Sharky's Event Center. There you go. There's another one to put one in the chamber for.
Yeah.
DJ Life's a Beach.
Good
We'll bring the band out
Brewery.
there to do some karaoke with you.
Yeah.
Uncle Jimmy, you can announce the bands.
Oh.
See what I'm doing here?
I do see what you're doing there.
And if the band needs some banners or T-shirts, we're going to call the Print Shop Underground. So we're wrapping this all together. If they need to be insulted, we'll call Snarky Productions. And last but not least, we will supply them.
And we'll supply some
with
sweets.
Sweets from Toffee Break Toffee. And don't forget, we'll bring them some Good Nature Brewery beer.
Bring him some beer from Good Nature Brewery.
That's right. We're going to have to come out with a new kind of Miller beer. We'll call it the Jason Charles Miller Light.
JCM Light.
JCM Light.
Yep.
There you go. We've wrapped them all in. Did we miss anybody? Nope, we got them all.
So. I don't think so. Once again, I want to thank Jason Charles Miller for being on the show, brother.
Yes. J-Ro. Thank J-Ro for this
J-Ro.
music.
We love you as well.
J-Ro's a friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Sad to have lost a following member.
Well,
No, we're not.
meh.
Everybody's like, what's that cryptic message?
I know. You'll
Send
find
me
out.
an email. I'll tell you
Send
all
me
about
an
it.
email. I'll tell you everything.
You've been listening to The Good,
The Band.
The Ugly. I'm Big Papa.
I'm Jeff.
Stick around next week. Ooh, who do we have next week, Jeff?
I don't know, Mike. Why don't you tell us in 20 seconds or less?
Jesus Christ. Next week, Ross the Boss and Ben Morrow. See ya.
See ya.
We didn't leave any time for music. I'm going to start the music over again so we can do that on our credits.
Why wouldn't you? Thanks, Jay.
Now, see ya.
Peace, everybody.
Later.